I'm sitting here with Seafood Nick Scrima, host of the International Chinese Martial Arts Championships. We were just talking a little bit after the event. This is my second year being a judge and participating in this event. The first time I did it was '09. I wasn't able to make it 2010, and I made it this year. So Nick, I mean, how do you think it went overall?
Well, this is our third year here, as you mentioned, and this year was actually the North American final. So it's been one of 13 tournaments so far this year. And we have one more event next month in Orlando, which is going to close up the 2011 season. We had competitors coming all the way from California, from Washington State, Texas, Florida, pretty much from all over the country.
I mean, where do you see? I mean, you know, and you know me from the tournament circuit. You know me from
known you a long time.
A long time. You know me from the '80s and the '90s and a little bit in the 2000s. I'm still sort of semi-retired. I'm semi-retired.
Not from what I saw, just
he saw me doing some stuff, but I'm semi-retired, so I can't do anything in this country. But anyway, so I mean, we've talked periodically. Where do you see the venue, or where do you see Chinese martial arts going with, with mixed martial arts, UFC? You know, they've really accelerated the game in less than 22 years.
Of course, if we're talking about martial arts in general, then you would have to say that the MMA, UFC, is taking over a big chunk of the market, especially as far as television exposure is concerned. That doesn't mean that Chinese martial arts are dead by any means.
No, not at all.
And one of the problems is that there's still a very reserved or quote-unquote so-called traditional mentality where people still feel like territorial or my style is better than your style kind of stuff. And all it's doing is hurting the progress of Chinese martial arts.
Because they've just had recently the film called Warrior. That just came out, another MMA film. I think that's the 6th MMA film in the last like 7 or 8 years. And even though it made 11 million, by Hollywood standards, that's a flop. That's like breaking even. That's barely breaking even.
It's considered a flop by Hollywood
standards, right? Because I just noticed that, and I try to explain to people that while mixed martial arts has a venue, and it's a piece of the overall picture of martial arts. As far as MMA on film, it just doesn't look that good to me.
We've both been involved in martial arts for a long time, tournaments. I think that Chinese martial arts have some elements to offer that, let's say, are not available in other styles.
So what would you say those are? I know what I feel with those elements are, but what would you say, if you had to name, like, let's say, 5 things that Chinese martial arts offers where MMA lack, what would those 5 things be?
Well, mixed martial arts still sets out for that, but in my personal view, art is a form of self-expression. Okay? So you could say mixed martial arts people could also say, well, you know, this is how I express myself, but basically when it comes down to it, it's based on fighting. Okay? It's about fighting. One of the ways that they're easily able to transcend this concept to the general audience is because people understand fighting. Chinese martial arts, number one, are based on a long, deep tradition. You have so many different styles, which is a plus and also a negative in some ways. Okay, it's one of the things that can create conflict even within the same system, from one teacher to another. But there's an aspect, like the internal, the external, the meditation aspect, the Qigong aspect, where it makes the art really complete. And to where you can commit yourself really from childhood to your advanced years and continue to study, to practice, to progress, to transcend and transmit to the next generation. Which I think is definitely something that we cannot say about MMA, because even, let's say, on the average, most athletes last a few years, 10 years stops.
Right. I mean, I noticed, because I've been in China twice, and both tournaments I competed in, both the World Championships in '04 and then the World Championships in '09 in Hong Kong. I mean, I saw people ranging from little kids to people in their 80s and 90s. And, you know, I have to agree with you. MMA is a young man's game. You know, it's a young man's game. So, I mean, and no disrespect, I mean, I guess you could do it if you wanted to, but I don't see anybody 70 years old fighting in a cage. I do see them doing Tai Chi, Qigong, and a lot of times they get into the arts, not necessarily for combat reasons, but for maybe health
personal
reasons.
development.
So now the circuit. Now again, I've known you for a while, you know, and we came up. I mean, before there was really no Chinese martial art tournaments. There was 2 or 3 tournaments a year, you know. And then you had the NACMAP. From NACMAP, you had the WKF, and then the Koshu is its own separate entity. And
I think all of these organizations definitely contribute to bringing people together, to generating awareness. But what we're doing with TICMAC, ICMAC, is basically we have created a rating system, a top 10 rating system, which is not new. In a way, you could say that we borrowed it from the open karate circuit, but it is new for Chinese martial arts. It is new for Chinese martial arts. We're bringing people together, not only nationally, but globally. The people are traveling from Europe, from Asia, from South America. People are competing in multiple tournaments because they have something they aim for, to shoot for, and we're bringing a lot of people together. And I feel strongly that even the people that are not participating ultimately are going to benefit from this additional exposure.
now I'm going to ask you a question. Having competed for a long time, and one of the differences in the open tournament circuit, like Dennis Brown, like US Capital Classic, or the Battle of Atlanta, or the Bluegrass National, there's a certain amount of prize money that's involved, at least for the black belt competitors. Is that, do you see ICMAC heading down that road?
Eventually we will also be able to do that as we continue to expand, because I feel that competitors that invest their time, invest their money should be rewarded for these efforts. But ultimately, I also feel that competitors, by and large, are more interested in achieving a certain status, achieving a certain rating, but definitely something that we, as the circuit continues to grow and we are more established, that this is something that is definitely one of our main goals to be able to do.
Now the circuit's been going on officially, because you did it sort of unofficially for a little bit, for about 2 years, right?
Well, we basically did a couple test tournaments.
Right. One was in Vegas.
One was in Vegas.
I didn't get a chance to go to that one.
So what we tried to do is, of course, the tournament in Florida has been running for many years. It's definitely been one of the most successful Chinese martial arts tournaments in North America. And I developed a certain system of running the tournament, and I wanted to see if this concept could be transcended and be applied away from our home base. Okay? And we tried it in Las Vegas, and it was very successful. And then the following year we did 4 events, and they worked out very well. And then we expanded to where we did 12 events last year and 14 events this year.
Now, is there going to be a cap, like the number of events culminating into a final? Are you going to leave it at like 14 or expand it a little bit more?
Well, we're going to be expanding a lot more overseas. Okay. Next year we have tournaments planned in Europe, we have tournaments planned in South America, in Canada. So I think we've reached pretty much, like, as a matter of fact, we are thinking about reducing a little bit the number of tournaments in the US and expanding a little bit more in North America.
Well, see, I mean, you know, we don't get a chance to talk. We talk periodically, but we don't really get a chance to sit down and talk like this. And this is great. You know, for me, and you know, as always, I mean, I've always been a big supporter of you know, everything you've done with your team. I know when we used to, you know, I used to compete with your guys, Richard Bliss and Scotty Linden.
I saw some of that this morning. You still got it. I'm happy to see that you're still involved, and because we need good people to promote Chinese martial arts, and you're definitely doing your part. And congratulations on your book.
Oh, thank you, my sir. All right, so that being said, we're out of here, so we got to pack up and get going.